I was under an old rusted Chevy, the kind of job that made my back ache and my hands smell like oil no matter how many times I scrubbed them. The heat in the garage was stifling, but I was used to it. The clang of tools and the scent of grease were as familiar to me as breathing. Then I heard the unmistakable sputter of a car struggling to stay alive, followed by a sharp, panicked voice outside. "Hello, is anyone here?" Sliding out from under the car, I wiped my hands on my already grease-stained overalls and turned toward the entrance. She stood there young, out of place in this part of town, her heels clicking nervously against the concrete. Her sleek black coupe was parked haphazardly at the curb, clearly not where it belonged. "My car broke down," she said, gesturing toward it. "Looks like you're in the right place," I replied, keeping my voice neutral. The contrast between her polished appearance and my dingy shop wasn't lost on me. She hesitated, glancing at her phone like she had somewhere better to be. "Can you fix it quickly? I'm on a schedule." "Let's see what I'm working with first," I said, already grabbing my tools. A quick inspection told me she had no clue about cars. The radiator was nearly dry, and a few connections were loose. Rookie mistakes. "Can you fix it or not?" she asked, biting her lip. "I can fix it," I said, suppressing a grin. "But it'll take a couple of hours." She groaned, pacing in those ridiculous heels, clearly impatient. But I focused on the work. By the time I finished, the sun was setting. She was leaning against the wall, scrolling through her phone. "All done," I said, wiping my hands and standing up. Her relief was visible. "Thank you. How much do I owe you?" I gave her a modest number for the work done. She blinked, then rummaged through her designer bag and pulled out a thick wad of cash. "Keep the change," she said casually, handing me far more than I had asked for. "That's too much." I started to protest, but she was already heading for the car. "Consider it a tip," she called over her shoulder before driving off. The roar of her engine faded into the evening air. I didn't think much of it until later that night. An unexpected visit. I had just settled down with a cold beer and the game on TV when a knock at the door made me frown. I wasn't expecting anyone. Opening it, I found a man in a crisp suit holding an envelope. "Mr. Daniels?" "Yeah," I said warily. "Who's asking?" He extended the envelope toward me. "I'm here on behalf of Miss Evelyn Carter." The name meant nothing to me until he added, "The woman whose car you fixed earlier today." I frowned. "Something wrong with the repair?" I told her everything should be running fine now. "It's not about the repair," he said. "Miss Carter would like to thank you personally. She has an unconventional way of doing that." I glanced at the envelope, suspicion twisting in my gut. This didn't feel like a simple thank you. I stepped aside, letting him in. He carried himself like a man used to million-dollar boardrooms, not a rundown mechanic's house. His gaze flickered over my small living room, the peeling wallpaper, the second-hand furniture. "Make yourself comfortable," I said, my voice laced with sarcasm. He didn't sit. Instead, he handed me the envelope. "Miss Carter instructed me to deliver this to you personally. She believes in rewarding those who go above and beyond." I opened it cautiously. My rough hands felt foreign against the smooth paper. Inside was a check. $50,000. "You've got to be kidding me," I muttered. "This has to be a mistake." "No mistake," he assured me. "Miss Carter has her reasons." I stared at the check, my mind racing. 50 grand was more money than I had ever seen in my life. It could pay off my debts, fix up the shop, maybe even let me dream a little bigger. But there was a catch. There had to be. "What's the condition?" I asked, my voice wary. "No condition," he replied smoothly. "It's a gift, pure and simple." I didn't believe him. People like her didn't throw money around for no reason. Still, I nodded, slipping the check back into the envelope. "If she needs more car repairs, she knows where to find me." The lawyer gave a polite nod. "Enjoy your evening, Mr. Daniels, and take care." A bigger proposition. The next day, I was still trying to wrap my head around what had happened when a black SUV pulled up outside my shop. Out stepped Evelyn Carter herself. She wasn't dressed like before. Gone were the designer heels and sleek city girl look. Now, she radiated the presence of a CEO poised, confident, and completely in control. "Miss Carter," I said, wiping my hands on a rag. "Didn't expect to see you again so soon." "Call me Evelyn," she said with a faint smile. "I wanted to thank you in person." "Your lawyer already took care of that," I replied, trying to keep my nerves in check. She laughed softly. "I suppose he did, but I believe gratitude is best expressed face to face." There was something in her tone's sincerity, maybe that threw me off guard. She glanced around my shop. "This is your business? For better or worse," I said. "Mostly worse these days." She nodded thoughtfully. "You're good at what you do. You could charge twice as much, and people would still come to you." "Not around here," I replied. "People don't have that kind of money." She studied me for a moment. "What if I told you I could change that? Not just for you, but for this whole neighborhood?" I frowned. "What are you talking about?" She smiled, enigmatic. "I have a proposal, but it's not something we can discuss here. Are you free for dinner tonight?" "Dinner? With her?" I hesitated. Was this a business meeting or something else entirely? "I don't usually mix business with food," I said cautiously. "Then consider it a favor," she replied, her tone leaving no room for argument. "Pick me up at 8. I'll text you the address." And just like that, she was gone again. The beginning of something bigger. The restaurant was upscale, way out of my league. My old truck stuck out like a sore thumb in a parking lot full of luxury cars. Inside, Evelyn sat at a private table, looking every inch the powerful woman she was. "You clean up nicely," she said, amused. "Thanks," I replied gruffly, feeling like a fish out of water. She didn't waste time. "You're probably wondering why I'm doing all this." The thought crossed my mind, I admitted. She leaned forward. "I grew up in a place like this. My father was a mechanic. He taught me the value of hard work and the importance of paying it forward." I stared at her, trying to reconcile the woman in front of me with the story she was telling. "And you think handing me a check is paying it forward?" She smiled. "That was just the beginning. I want to invest in your shop, this community. Let's build something bigger together." I had no idea what I was stepping into, but I knew one thing for sure: my life was about to change forever.